Hey, what's up everybody? This is Swag It On with Swagger Gaming, bringing you another World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth beta first look video. Today we'll be looking at the Enhancement Shaman. Please remember that everything in this video is from the beta test server and is subject to change. I'll do my best to keep up with any changes made to the spec in the description and comment sections of this video. Enhancement Shamans appear to have been slightly buffed across the board, enhancing most of their baseline spells and adding some cool new talents. There were no baseline abilities removed from the Enhancement Shaman spellbook, but 2 new totems were added. Capacitor Totem is a port of Lightning Surge Totem from the Legion talent tree. This is the stun totem and has a 1-minute cooldown and a 10% base mana cost. Note that the stun has had its duration reduced to 3 seconds, down from 5 in the current talent version. The other new totem is Tremor Totem. This was brought back from previous expansion and removes fear, charm, and sleep effects from party and raid members within 30 yards for 10 seconds. This totem costs 2.3% of base mana and has a 1-minute cooldown. Enhancement Shaman's also got Earth Elemental back. This is on a 5-minute cooldown and summons an Earth Elemental to protect you and your allies for 1 minute. Healing Surge has had its mana cost increased from 22% of base mana to 25%, and Lava Lash had its Maelstrom cost increased from 30 to 40. Rockbiter, Flame Tongue, and Frostbrand all had their range increased from 10 to 20 yards, but otherwise remain unchanged. Stormstrike is now on a 9-second cooldown, down from 15, and costs 30 Maelstrom, down from 40, and Windfury's base proc chance was increased from 20 to 25%. Cleanse Spirit has had its mana cost reduced from 13% of base mana to 6.5, and Crash Lightning now also increases the damage of your next Stormstrike by 5%. The Stormbringer passive ability still gives your weapon attacks a 5% chance to reset Stormstrike, but now decreases its Maelstrom cost by 100% up from 50% and increases its damage by 25%. The last thing I wanted to talk about before talents is our mastery. It appears that the Windfury and Stormbringer proc chance has increased substantially, but it's very hard to tell without doing further testing. I will try and get some better data on this and post an update on this video. The Enhancement Shaman had quite a few new talents removed and replaced by new ones, but also some that somehow managed to avoid being changed at all. In Tier 1, Windsong was removed, Landslide was moved, but Hot Hand remains and is unchanged. Boulder Fist was moved in from Tier 7 and was also unchanged. Lightning Shield was moved in from Tier 4 and was reworked. It now grants 1 charge when hit by a melee attack and 2 charges when you cast Stormstrike. When it gets to 20 charges, the shield overloads, causing you to deal nature damage with each attack and generate 100 Maelstrom over 10 seconds. Tier 2 saw Feral Lunge and Windrush Totem moved out and Rainfall removed from the game. Instead we see Landslide moved in and 2 new talents. Landslide was changed to give your Rockbiter a 20% chance to increase the damage of your next Stormstrike by 100%. Forceful Winds is the first new talent in this row, and it makes your Windfury cause each successive Windfury attack within 15 seconds to increase the damage of Windfury by 100% and the Maelstrom generated by 1, stacking up to 5 times. The other new talent in this row is Totem Mastery, which was ported over from the Elemental spec. This gives you 4 totems for 2 minutes that give different buffs. Resonance Totem generates 1 Maelstrom every second, Storm Totem increases Stormstrike damage by 5%, Ember Totem increases Lava Lash damage by 10%, and Tailwind Totem increases your Windfury proc chance by 2%. Tier 3 had all 3 talents removed and 3 new talents added. Spirit Wolf gives your Ghost Wolf form a 5% movement speed and damage reduction boost every 1 second, stacking up to 4 times. Earth Shield was ported over from the Resto Shaman and puts a shield on your target, increasing your healing on them by 10% and healing them when they take damage. This has a total of 9 charges and costs 10% of your base mana. Note that there is no cooldown on Earth Shield, but it can only be placed on 1 target at a time. Static Charge reduces the cooldown of Capacitor Totem by 5 seconds for each enemy it stuns, up to a max of 20 seconds. In Tier 4, Lightning Shield was moved and Ancestral Swiftness was removed, but Hailstorm remains and was untouched. Overcharge was moved in from Tier 5 and had its max damage percentage reduced from 1500 to 1200, but is otherwise unchanged. Searing Assault is a new spell that makes your Flame Tongue apply a 6-second fire damage over time effect on the target. Tier 5 saw both Tempest and Empowered Stormlash removed and Overcharge moved out. Instead we get Feral Lunge and Windrush Totem from Tier 2, both of which were unchanged, and a new talent called Nature's Guardian. When you fall below 35% health, Nature's Guardian instantly heals you for 20% of your maximum health. This heal cannot occur more than once every 45 seconds. In Tier 6, all 3 talents remain, and Crashing Storm and Fury of Air were untouched. Sundering had its knockback effect changed to a 2-second incapacitate, but is otherwise unchanged. Tier 7 still has Ascendance and Earth and Spike, both of which had slight tweaks to their numbers. Ascendance now reduces the cooldown and cost of Stormstrike by 66%, down from 80%, and Earth and Spike now only increases the physical and nature damage to the target by 20%, down from 30%. Elemental Spirits is a new talent in this row, and it reduces the cooldown on Feral Spirits by 30 seconds. It also causes your Feral Spirits to be imbued with Fire, Frost, or Lightning, enhancing your abilities. The Fire Dog increases your fire damage by 20% and makes your Lava Lash apply a 4-second damage over time effect. The Frost Dog does frost damage and snares targets by 30% for 3 seconds, and the Lightning Dog increases the damage of Stormstrike and Windfury by 35%. Note that these buffs are random, and you can get 2 of the same element. I had a lot of fun experimenting with the Enhancement Shaman on the beta servers. The playstyle is generally the same, but the reduction on Stormstrike cooldown really helps the flow of the build. Both AoE and single target damage felt on the higher side, and survivability is about where I would expect for a melee mail wearer. I'm hoping that Totem Mastery isn't going to be the highest damage output like it was for Elemental and Legion, because it's just not a very engaging talent. Well, that's all I have on the Enhancement Shaman. If you like this video, please think about hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more gaming content. Thanks for watching, and have a great one.